Welcome, everybody.
Howdy.
This is the ReBoot Review,
It's Alphanumeric.
I'm Robin.
I'm Katie.
We're ReBoot fans who watch ReBoot and talk about ReBoot.
Yes, often.
Yes, regularly. So, and today we are talking about Web World Wars, the season finale for season 2. No! It's funny how, we were talking a little bit about the internet fandom a few episodes ago, and Katie and I were very, not actively involved in the internet fandom. We were definitely lurkers, but we used to check our favorite websites a lot for updates and confer with each other on what had been updated and enjoy these websites together. And, the extended no was definitely in the early aughts. That was something that I guess the fandom liked to affectionately poke fun at a lot.
Yeah, it was the thing. Yeah, have we taken the time to do the shout out to different, I mean, I know we kind of mentioned a few names.
Offhandedly, but no, we haven't really done a formal acknowledgement of the fandom that came before us and laid the road for
what we do today.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't know how many people out there listening to this now were kind of originally involved in or even just paying attention to the fandom back then. But one of the awesome things about ReBoot, especially just before season 4 came out when there was a lot of anticipation going on, was that the ReBoot fandom was really tight-knit.
Yeah, and also well-informed.
Yeah.
Incredibly well-informed.
Yeah. Everyone just seemed to be really interconnected and knowledgeable, and it was just kind of neat because it was really a community.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's funny. I remember when you asked if I'd be interested in doing this show, I remember thinking to myself, I don't know enough. When I think back on some of the web pages, the articles that, people, I remember reading this one huge page that someone had created that was devoted to all of the Easter eggs or references in every episode.
I don't remember which page
I think
that
you
was.
You told me to read
it.
it. Yeah. But that's the thing is just I remember thinking I don't even know half of these things. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and a lot of the information that we're giving you in this show, I almost think of this as a continuation of that fandom because most of what we know in terms of the little trivia and bits we're throwing out is stuff that we learned from the old fandom.
That's right.
And from these sites that I think, I don't even think they're online anymore. I think you have to use the Wayback Machine in order to see them.
Probably.
And and again, one of the reasons why I decided to do this was watching it with a friend who's just slightly younger than me. There was all this stuff he didn't know, and I was like, oh my gosh, if you weren't trolling the websites in 2001.
That's right. And so many newer fans wouldn't maybe have been allowed on the internet. I don't even know.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it. But and we just happened to be the right age at the right time to be able to get to all of that good stuff.
And by the right age, we were this is second year university, and we were just hardcore ReBoot fans in university.
The toy comics.
That was MG.
Yeah,
Bob Squad.
MG. Yeah, exactly. And Box Bob. I mean, does anyone remember Box Bob? My favorite character.
We're here laughing at inside jokes, but I just have to tell you, and MG's a minor glitch was a site I did try to go back and find because I was trying to remember what Bob Squad was called, and that was one I had to find on the Wayback Machine. So that site's no longer hosted. But if you know how to use the Wayback Machine, I don't even remember how I found it, but I did manage to find it cached, basically, the Bob Squad comics, at least a couple of them. And this was a fan, MG. Again, we mentioned her a few episodes ago. So creative, so funny, and had just one of the best ReBoot websites. And she had so many action figures and so many Bobs specifically that she made a webcomic just taking pictures of her Bob figures and called it the Bob Squad. And
and it was hilarious.
It was so funny. Yeah, because she there was one that she had taken the hair off of, so there was Bald Bob. Yes. And Box Bob was the one who was still in packaging.
And he was very morose.
Oh yeah, that's right, because he couldn't do anything. So sad. I love it. But yeah, the ReBoot fandom was just so creative. It was full of people who were not only knowledgeable, but who were doing such funny, interesting things and just coming up with neat ideas. And and the fandom was nice. There was notorious Mary Sue fanfic writers.
Yes.
And they were treated as just as much an important part of the ReBoot community as everyone else was.
That's right. I think it's because like there are dozens of us, right? Can we do this joke again? But like it's true. I think maybe there were more fans than we imagined, but we imagined ourselves as such a small crew, a small community that we're keeping something alive.
Yeah.
When really, I mean, there are probably a lot more
people just kind of observing from the outside, like us.
Right, exactly.
But as far as the active participants, it wasn't worth it to gatekeep anybody out because it felt like there were so few of us to begin with.
So maybe that's a big part of it. But either way, it sure made for awesome fandom.
No, the fandom was so fun. Back in the early 2000s, and it just kind of felt like everyone kind of knew everyone, and you could know everyone.
And I think there was like, it's funny. I wonder if it was before the days. I think it was before the days of real trolling, like people using the internet for evil.
That was back when like flame wars were a thing. So when you would have fights within fandom, it would usually be like on a forum, and there would be a flame war. Right. But I don't think there were really like active ReBoot forums, and that might have been part of it. It was all like curated sites by the people who owned them.
Yeah, maybe that's it.
Like just throw out some names here: Julia Cat, Al's Waiter, Slack and Hash, MG, of course.
Think she hadn't written those down. They're in her head.
Yeah. I have a thing with names.
That's very good.
You might have noticed that.
Yes.
I'm probably forgetting some amazing ones, but those are the ones
we were
really,
on.
Yeah, those are the ones that we were really devoted to. Yeah. So I guess if anybody who was in charge of that fandom or participating in it, here's this. Just thanks to you guys, because we probably wouldn't be here doing this for all those amazing things that were being done back then. That just kind of helped us love the show even more
and inspired like. We have it. Well, Robin brings it every time we record, but we have my little Fimo icon badge that I made for Robin years and years and years ago. Yeah. But it's like it like that is what inspired me to get crafty.
Yeah, seeing all these amazing things that people were doing with it. Yeah. The fandom was so creative. But with that, I guess we should probably get on to watching.
I know.
Web World Wars.
Okay, one more time.
Web World Wars.
Say it again.
Web World Wars. Web World Wars. Why did they write such a hard to say episode title?
Web World War. Wait.
Okay, I'm starting now.
Web World Wars.
Systems, peoples.
Play along at home, kids.
Maybe like they said it because it's such a serious episode. They had to give it like a tongue twister just to get everyone laughing.
Yeah, exactly. And
their hopes.
Again, we talked about whether or not they would know at this point that they didn't have a season 3 renewal. I'm still erring on the side of no. I'm still erring on the side of they were still hoping for a last ditch renewal, which was why they put a cliffhanger in. Because being honest, I've worked on shows that did that. So
just in case,
just as an extra incentive, So I'm gonna say maybe they didn't know, but at this point we were like, you know what, guys, just going all out, and creating titles that even we're not going to be able to say when it's in production. World Wars. I'm sure it had some kind of like code name among the production staff. Just
World War III or something.
Yeah, W3 maybe.
www. Dot reboot. Dot. Web World Wars.
So yeah, of course, the big thing with this episode being that for a long time we thought this was all we were getting.
Yeah.
I mean, and the thing is, looking at the dates now, like, because the air date for this one was February 96. I don't know that it was actually that long of a time, because I do seem to recall that season 3 came out in fall of 97. So it was just about a year and a half, really.
That's not too bad. Yeah, but it did seem like forever.
I think it seemed like a long time because, I don't know about you, but I didn't know we were getting a season 3 until, like, the week it aired. Like, it was...
Yeah, I can't remember. I feel like I had some anticipation for it, though.
Yeah. But again, like maybe like a promo you saw 2 weeks beforehand?
Yeah, must have been. It must have been something, because I became a super fan, I think, after... I think they re-aired them all before season 3. And then I started Or no, I was always a super fan. I mean,
Yeah, but yeah, trying to attach the dates to it in a sense of like the timeline, I think it just felt like a really long time
I guess
between
it's
it
true.
because I mean we were kids or teenagers at least,
And I guess anything feels long when you're young.
young, yeah,
Yeah.
and again, not thinking we were going to get any more of it, I think made it because you know this was before Family Guy got a renewal after a cancellation. Like it became kind of a normal thing to happen in the late 90s, early 2000s, but there was a long time where, like, once a show was done, it was done.
It was just simply done. Yeah, it's
there
true.
was no second chances for a lot of shows.
Firefly.
Yep. So yeah, I think it was just, it was weird to have a show be brought back from the dead.
But I guess
Back
it's
then.
such a passion project that they
Yeah.
were like, we're not letting go.
Yeah, I wonder, again, having worked for production companies that really fought tooth and nail for renewals, and having been on the broadcaster side, seeing those producers fight for it, and you know, seeing the meetings where the broadcasters finally like, okay, you know what, fine, here's some money, give me a half season, we'll see what happens after that. I do wonder what they did such that they like were not giving up on it.
Yes, sir.
And got YTV to fund it solo.
I feel like I'd read somewhere that, and it could be that I'm imagining, but I think that they did a lot of silly shows to pay for ReBoot. And that might have been season 4 that I was reading it for.
Yeah.
Like they did a lot of like Barbie.
Yeah, they
and,
did like the Barbie movies.
Yeah.
And in general, they were taking a lot of outsourced stuff.
Right, but I do
to
believe
pay
I
their
read an
bills.
article that said that they were really trying to make their company successful so that they could continue ReBoot.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Yeah, I believe it because this was the passion project that started it all. And again, the kind of theme that comes up again and again as we discuss this show is how much love goes into it and how much of the show they put in that extra bit of effort just because you knew they were enjoying what they were doing.
Yeah, this was a special show. It really,
Yeah.
it's just, I mean, it's so unique and a premise. We've talked about this a little bit. You just can't do now.
No.
I mean, it would. I mean, well, obviously you cannot do now. I mean, but like, but even if you had the same idea,
Technology's changed so much. It doesn't fit.
it wouldn't be the same. I mean, they could try the inside of a computer now, but it would just be so different from
Yeah.
what ReBoot
this was. Yeah.
Work together. It'll be a shame to split up such a winning team.
Hexadecimal, you know the plan.
Which one? There seem to be several.
I like the cut in to go with the changing of her mask.
Finished. What a lovely toy. Where do I sit?
I don't like it, honey.
Does
I've
the Little
viruses
Mouse theme
before,
play
and they
every
double-crossed
time we get an
every
establishing shot of
time.
Mouse? Because I feel like I heard it at
don't
least
trust 'em
twice in the
anymore,
last
and I
episode.
trust
now
those
you have to go
guys.
back to the previous episode.
Yeah,
and
now I have
see,
to go
did
back
we
to
get
every
one?
episode Mouse is in.
I feel the same way
Oh,
you
this
do.
is such a
We
classic.
all got our part
Yes.
to play.
Moment.
Megabyte's building the hardware, Hexadecimal's gonna power it, and you've got to operate it and hack the codes that'll shut the portal. And what if those two do the dirty on us? They won't. If we lose, they lose. The web will destroy them along with the rest of mainframe. What do you think? Does it make me look too butch?
Classic.
That's a good joke.
Listen, while I'm working on the codes with Megabyte, well, you'll watch my back, won't you? What do you think this is for?
Oh, Dot's tough side. It's fun when you see it.
Sad that something so beautiful could be so deadly.
It must be really bad. I've never seen Bob team up with Mega Breath and Hexadecimal like this before.
Yeah, we still had to have the last of the Enzo.
I don't know if he knows their real names.
Here, you seem to form a team. and
Somebody
make
tell
friends.
Enzo.
You
He's been
guardians
saying it
are
wrong this
clever.
whole time.
Well, as soon as he tells Andrea about the Guardian
Andrea?
thing.
Uh-huh.
There's something I've been meaning to tell you.
That's
You
a
know how I
sad
said I was a
theme.
guardian? Well,
Cadet Matrix,
Bob?
why aren't you in uniform? You know how serious things are. It's time you got suited up.
Saved by the Bob.
Just
Yep.
follow me on this one. Due to the current crisis we're all facing, I am invoking emergency code 9510.
Also, I mean,
Enzo, give me your icon.
clearly he's not just doing it for Andrea's sake. You know, I think he
Yeah,
is meaning he
I
has
think
decided
so.
Enzo's ready for this. However,
Command line, icon.
even though he's
Download
kind of
Guardian
doing it as
Protocol
like a
to version
bros watching out for
1.0.
bros thing at the same time, it's like, really, you couldn't
Enzo
have
Matrix,
made
there is a
Enzo
huge
just
responsibility in taking
be
the Guardian
honest
badge of
before you
office.
die.
That's true.
Really, I think Enzo would have learned a lot more about owning up to that.
I know.
By the power vested in me,
And then in
I
having
give
you
a
come in
field
and save his skin
commission
at the last
as
second.
Guardian. First,
But, you know, Bob is not known for his maturity.
Yeah,
So-
you know, I think that's a big part
It's
of it. He
pretty in
probably
character.
didn't think about it,
Yeah.
but it's so true. I know. Like in a
No,
normal
it's-
children's show,
you've
they
really
have to own
earned
up to
this.
their mistakes.
You will be transferred
And in
to
this
the
one, no, they just
supercomputer
get
to attend the
rewarded.
academy
Yeah, and Andrea, I
and
mean,
become a
obviously
full-fledged
knows. I mean,
guardian
come
like
on.
me.
Yeah, I think she was
I
onto
know
this
you'll
for
make
a
me
while. But she was like, no, I'm going to make you say it to me.
That's right.
Right, Mouse, Hexadecimal, and I are ready to go. I can't believe I just said that.
Okay, let's do it. Guardian Enzo,
Yes, sir?
this is it. Should anything happen to me, I am charging you with defense of this system. And look after him, will you?
So, like, there were no other possible candidates to be
You
the
look
deputy.
cool,
It
Enzo.
had to
I
be
had to be.
this 10-year-old boy.
Yeah,
And thanks,
pretty
Bob.
much.
I like you. You got chutzpah.
Also, and I hope Bob talked to Dot about this first.
I
Because it would be
know.
very much like Bob to be like, easier to beg forgiveness than ask permission. That's
Dot's like,
Bob's
"What?"
way.
You're sending him where?
I trust you will have the codes cracked in time.
Listen, Sugar, I'm not just getting the codes to shut the portal. I'm hacking into the web and erasing Mainframe's location.
So it will be difficult to locate mainframe from the web again?
Impossible.
Oh, and is she doing that to, like, keep the Guardians
girl.
off them? Because, I mean, ultimately, you still want them to be able to find you from the supercomputer,
Yeah,
don't
well, I
you?
mean, like, because you've gotten rid of the if they get rid of the
web portal.
yeah,
stuff,
and all
then-
the monsters, then like, yeah, you would eventually like to have some contact, maybe
Yeah.
some explanation of you know what they were thinking about doing.
Yeah.
A little apology, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. At the very least, they should be accountable for trying to blow up Mainframe last episode.
The chaps are getting jittery, sir. Let's just hope no one cracks, Binky. Oh, I see. Stiff upper lip, is it, huh?
And again, this thing, it does seem like a lot of major events in ReBoot are triggered by just like somebody's moment of bad judgment.
Yes.
You know, it's
usually a zero.
Yeah. Oh, those zeros. When will they ever learn?
Who gave the order to fire?
No order, sir. Somebody got scared.
This is bad.
That would be Gary Chalk
Very
again, I'm
bad.
pretty sure.
They'll
Incidentally,
summon
also the
attack
voice of
drones.
Turbo. He's
You've
Turbo,
got to
right?
stop them getting
Pretty sure
back
Gary
through the
Chalk
portal.
is Turbo.
Flip through your notebook.
Yep.
Find the answer.
Yep. And I wrote it down by actor too, so Gary Chalk. Yep. He is definitely Turbo.
Ah, yes.
Yep.
Oh, those zeros. I'm very bad at this.
Yeah, like the scene is like a lot of build up, but it's also like, where's this going?
Yeah,
A
exactly.
little bit. This is for an action-y episode. This is maybe not the most thrilling action they've directed. And again, I think it's because there's not really anything character-based driving it right now. It's-
Right, it's just a whole
We're
bunch
just
of guys
chasing
chasing
aliens.
tadpoles around. like,
And this episode is so like literally dark.
Right.
Like the color scheme is so dark, and I seem to have memories of watching this like on an afternoon in a TV room that had a lot of glare on like an old style TV.
Yeah, and those
being
old
like,
TVs,
yeah, I
you
can't
see anything.
really tell most of what's going on right now.
Stop that probe! I'm on it, sir.
Yeah, I do remember not really understanding like so much of like the point of, like you said, stop that probe. Like, so is it like a beacon? Like what?
Yeah,
what
and that
is
was
this?
that
Like-
was one of those things where they would drop a single line talking about what was going on, but they didn't reinforce it enough for it being a kind of not necessarily easy to grasp concept. I mean, you don't want to be beat over the head with these things,
Right.
but there are, especially with kids shows, there are certain story concepts and devices that you do need to reinforce a couple of times through the episode.
Yeah,
and
so
often
they
ReBoot is
understand.
very good at it.
Yeah.
But this is an episode where they maybe just dropped a single line, and you don't realize it until you go back and watch it as an adult.
Yes,
even
exactly.
What exactly is happening.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're just like, oh, like you said, ships chasing tadpoles around.
Right.
But of course, things are going to get much more tense and character-driven, but we kind of had to sit through this sort of bit of generic
Beginning bit.
action.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously, I guess they had to set the, like, show us exactly the
Yeah,
the
I
threat
mean, it is
level.
Web World War, so they have to establish that this is, kind of mainframe at war.
Oh, did someone just beef it?
Yeah.
No parachute for that guy.
No, well, again, this was kind of... So, I don't want to, spoil it too much before it comes up, but this was the first episode where I think they referred to Megabyte's vehicles as ABCs. Because they do say, well, the ABCs have turned on us, and that was an allusion to the fact that, I think ABC had already pulled out at this point. They were just hoping for renewal from YTV. So, yeah, maybe this was, like you said, kind of like thumbing their noses at them, like, all right, you're not going to renew us, well, then we're just going to give you binomes crashing and war everywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. This is intense stuff. And I mean, obviously, this is what they wanted to do. They wanted to make it more intense, more...
Yeah.
Just more dangerous.
Yeah, yeah. These are kind of cool shots. Like, I'm sort of appreciating, with the camera angles following behind them, like right there.
Mm-hmm. What I think is interesting to me is that, I remember thinking,
what are you waiting for?
And thinking now, I think about the character of the Codemaster.
Yeah.
And how I felt like he was more threatening to mainframe than this.
Yeah, this is so just throwing things at you, and it's vague.
Right.
It's ambiguous. It's just it's just this kind of spread out sort of threat involving binomes you don't know and vehicles. And I mean, I think for a certain subset of people, this is really cool because going back to the art book that referred to, Katie's, Art of ReBoot book, there's whole pages devoted to the vehicle design. There's people who cared very much about stuff with cool vehicles who designed all of these, tankers and cars and everything that we see to make them fit the feel of the show.
Right. Actually, funny, my son would actually probably really like this when he's allowed to watch it.
Yeah, cool cars flying around shooting things, So there is a sect of people for whom this is really cool. But the Codemaster thing actually had a single focal point of someone who wanted something. And I think that's the thing, is it's hard to imagine these web creatures want anything.
Yeah. Yeah, it does. They're just kind of running around,
bent on
flying around,
destruction, and Oh well, there we have a parachute guy, or at least a eject.
We saw his face,
we go.
so he had to be okay.
Oh, and farewell to the diner. That's the point at which you realize that the focal point of the show is going to change, but we still get that 4D.
mouse.
I'm working as fast as I can. Just tell the witch to be ready.
I heard that. What a sweet thing to say.
Classic.
Computer witch.
Love that face.
Yeah.
Do this now. What's taking so long?
That's it. I've broken their code.
The hardware is fully charged.
She looks so proud of herself.
Now
I did it!
turn.
Okay, everyone, get ready. We're going to shut the portal.
Not just yet, Guardian.
I love how there's this huge clatter and Dot literally hits the ground and Bob's still... I mean, I guess it's pretty distracting.
Yeah.
What he's up to. Oh, man.
No.
That's really a pretty dramatic moment.
Megabyte, you won't get away with this.
No time to talk now, Bob. Launch.
But again, such great Tony J there, like the
Yes.
classic. She didn't even do anything to his digits.
And I'll subdivide you. What?
Nice. It's funny, I'd really thought about how, like, you know, of course, oh, that face.
Yeah, that's the classic. Megabyte has truly turned into a proper evil villain. And our no! And Bob! I guess that one wasn't quite as long.
No,
But-
well, it was good. Good note.
But
But yes, I keep meaning to say, it's interesting that he would send him to what could be certain death, but he won't kill him.
Yeah, that's
He
really
made a special
true.
Bob pod just to send him away.
Just like...
Which is, it's funny because that is fitting to Megabyte's character, I think. Because
That's, yeah.
he's not an animal.
Come on.
Right? He's
don't
like,
think
I'll
we're
give you a
welcome around
slim
here
chance of
anymore.
survival. It'll just be like kind of a miserable existence if you do make it.
I just need to get rid of you.
That's true, actually.
Ship. It's just a ship.
Yeah.
Let
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, I didn't
Yes,
realize
so
that her
there's
ship was
nowhere
like
left to hide.
canonically named
Come
ship.
on,
Like
now.
she was
Destroy
actually
referred to as
ship.
It actually is
Yeah.
ship. Yeah,
the
yeah.
CPUs out of the sky.
Which is another classic thing I remember from the
Supremacy.
reboot fandom is the running gag about the reboot nomenclature.
Let's turn it
Which
Yes.
is, you know, ship. The ship is named ship.
Yep.
The gun is named gun. Mm-hmm. And I believe in the Bob Squad there was a hat called Hat. No, it wasn't. It wasn't a hat. It was they go on a road trip, and the car's name was Car.
Yes.
All right, Andrea, we did it!
Happy for a minute.
Yeah, we need our moment of celebration. Except, like, that's pretty decent deployment of irony, though, where, like, you know that Enzo's got a big disappointment coming.
Yeah.
He doesn't know yet.
Yeah, that is tough. Poor little Enzo.
Yeah.
It's the ABCs. They've turned on us.
Then that's the line, right?
There
So,
it is.
so for anyone who doesn't know, that is reference to the fact that I guess they did at this point already know that ABC was not on board, and they just maybe didn't know what YTV's answer was. But that without ABC on board, it was going to be hard to continue on to a third season.
They've turned.
So the ABCs have turned on us, and that's the first time Megabyte's vehicles are referred to as ABCs. They never were that before.
It's bad, Fong. Very bad.
Aww. Using Bob's catchphrase and everything.
I'm sorry.
Don't you feel emotional?
I know. It's so tough.
Not even any music. Another classic no there. But yeah, like, not even the reboot sad theme. Like,
for your valiant efforts in fighting the web. Unfortunately,
It was all.
see, this was why they had to keep Megabyte and Hex fighting each other the whole time.
That's
This is
right.
what happens when they
As
team
we
up.
speak, your CPUs are being shot out of the sky. Fong, drop all defenses on the principal office. And welcome to Mega Frame.
I love it when he talks like that.
We will fight you to the last, Megabyte.
You have no defenses, you fools. Your guardian is
No,
lost.
I have a downloaded program of
Nothing can stand in
McAfee.
our way. Mainframe is ours.
Run!
We do have a guardian.
I like that it's like the game sprite who showed up here 3 days ago.
I know.
Remember what Bob
She doesn't
said.
know.
No, it's true.
I am Guardian Matrix, charged with defending this system. 2 viruses take over my
Dot's like, I guess we're running with this.
don't think so.
Okay.
End prog, and that was the big thing because I think like that little end prog end program thing, that was new. That wasn't normal at all. And with a little question mark, it was just like, oh my gosh, did they just end the show?
What?
Because I'm pretty sure watching this, I didn't know this was the end of the series to that point.
Yeah, I think I remember thinking, but I hate Enzo.
Right, like, gosh, I hope it's not long before we get Bob back.
I know,
And
they
yet,
gotta bring him back. Yeah. Oh, how long it took.
yeah, but yeah, imagine if you were not one of the people who was watching this show back in February of 1996. Imagine watching that and thinking that that was all the reboot you were going to get.
That's it.
That's it. I mean, I guess it's not so different from the cliffhanger at the end of season 4, thinking that was all the reboot we were going to get. Which it was.
And yet.
But
I wonder if there's ever a chance that they could go back.
I feel like it would have to be in a different medium. Like, and I guess, here's another thing. I guess they did do like a comic sort of follow up. Like they published a little comic. I never read it because I think I also heard that it was just kind of like, okay. Maybe I should check it out. If it's awesome, somebody let me know and I will try to find it. But I remember just kind of being like, it's not going to be the original show. Like it just seemed like
the same way season 4 wasn't the original show.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, maybe we'll get there. But yeah, but I'm a huge fan of comics picking up on shows or even providing background. Like from what I've seen, like it's a really neat way for a show's story to get to continue.
Yeah,
and it seems like comics, like the writers and the artists tend to be fans.
That's it.
Who care about.
Yeah. And as long as it's someone who understands the spirit of the original show.
Yeah.
You know, and I think there's a place for, you know, people writing their fan fiction because they want to see a show have a different tone or do things that the actual canonical show itself would never do. But with something that is meant to be an extension of the show, I want it to kind of fit in the same,
right. Yeah.
You know, vibe and tone. I want to be able to read a comic and hear the soundtrack that I know from the show or imagine the lines being delivered in the same way, even if the acting was hokey.
Yeah, because you just want the story to continue. You want what you had.
Yeah, you want to imagine it being just what it was.
Right.
Just more of it, you know.
Right.
So, yeah.
Actually, a huge shout out to, like, if you were an Avatar The Last Airbender fan and the comics, we've just been reading those in our family. And the writers are the writers of the show or the creators.
So you're getting,
they're really, like, they're very much in the same tone. And they do a great job with it. And yeah, that'd be nice for, you know, ReBoot to do that. That'd be cool.
Yeah, yeah.
That'd be cool. We don't need any more shows.
just give us a comic made by the original people. That's all we need.
Or you know what? Let's just have some great fan fiction. Come on, guys.
Yeah, true. And I mean, if anything, the original, like the new X-Files is proof that bringing back the original people really is not a guarantee you're going to get something that feels like the original. But another thing I just wanted to do another shout out to, because those Bob and No are so notorious. And speaking of the fandom, because they were so notorious, I remember they got used in a lot of fan fiction, but those words do not read the same. And I think it was in Slash and Hash and Slacks. Oh my gosh, I always want to call them the original name. Their parodies, or like they would kind of, you know, poke fun at fan fiction a little bit. I think it was them who made the joke about how you basically always want to read it as boob, no, every time. And so when I hear them giving those big dramatic no's to this day, any show, I'm like, no. So with that, I just had to give a shout out to that because this is the episode where that just became a reboot trope.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, they got repeated in fan fiction to often hilarious effect. And so this is the end of season 2. We are planning to continue on to season 3 because we're still having a good time doing this. We're not sure when exactly. I'm not planning a super long hiatus. Mm-hmm. Maybe in just like a couple of weeks or something, we'll be back.
We'll get back to it.
But if you are watching this as they're coming out on the current weekly schedule and you want to know when we release the new episodes, given we don't have a specific date in mind, I would encourage you to subscribe and hit the notification
subscribe
bell.
Yeah,
subscribe. Yeah. I don't push the audience to subscribe here because there's no point. Like, we literally can't monetize this. It's kind of complicated to explain here.
We are true fans. We are making no money.
It's impossible for us to make money off of this. We just want your subscription so that we know you're out there. Because, like, you get views, but then you're like, did you like it?
Maybe you didn't.
This video got, like, 8 views over the weekend, but there's 1 like. So I just don't know what that means. So please subscribe just to let us know you're out there and enjoying it. And if nothing else, to know when we're back with season 3.
Yep, because we will be back.
Much like season 3.
Yes, it did come back.
It did. ReBoot came back, and we will too. So anyway, until season 3, this has been the ReBoot Review. I'm Robin.
I'm Katie.
Stay frosty, you guys.
No!
I think you meant no!